Hey guys, this is Matt with Sanguine Entertainment, and today I've got a little bit of a different video for you. I'm going to be talking about Project Zomboid. There's not going to be a ton of gameplay, just maybe some background footage so you have something to look at, but we're going to be talking about the build 37.8 stable release, which just happened this last Monday. You can always check out Project Zomboid every Monday. They kind of let you know what the state of the game is, and they're constantly making progress. And I want to talk about this build update. I don't know if I'm going to do more of these in the future or if I'm going to be doing these every week, but I will be doing them as I feel they're needed. Not every single week may need one of these to be covered, but maybe they do. We'll find out. So 37.8 is now in stable. Right off the bat, it says it's got a lot of fiddly, long-standing fixed stuff that can be read here, and it just has a link to it, and I'm just going to talk about that really briefly, mostly because I think a lot of the time people don't click those links and go read on it. And so, you know, you go there, it's all black and white. You get there, there's RJ's picture, his picture's black and white. You just get kind of bored. You don't feel like reading it. So I'm going to run through it really quickly for you. There's a toggle to run option. This is useful. It's just a quality of life control thing. So if you've ever liked having a toggle to run, that's great. What I would like to also see is a toggle to sneak. I don't know if that exists yet, but if you're going to do toggle to run, it also makes sense to have toggle to sneak and have auto sneak as an option, because, you know, I want to favor not just the run around speedy characters, but the sneaky ones as well, just to give them that quality of life. They've got better version info button on the menu screen, so if you click that now on the new updates, it will give you everything I'm saying right here. Improved ovens and microwaves. Now, there's one of these things, I don't know if they read a comment. This says it's posted in January, so probably not, because I think these comments were made after January by me, but I was talking about, has anyone tested putting metal in a microwave in this game, and what happens? Does it cause a fire? And it says here, under the improved ovens and microwaves, putting metal in a microwave can result in a fire. So this is yet another way that you can attack someone in multiplayer, or if you need to bail on a safe house and you need a quick fire, you want to burn the zombies, burn your safe house for whatever reason, you can start that fire yourself. It's just another way to start a fire also. New sounds, operating light for ovens and microwaves. There's just a lot of little tiny things. You know, ovens will ding whenever the timer runs out, and you can set timers and stuff like that whenever you're cooking and things now. So just a lot of little tweaks, edits, what's the word I'm looking for? Just polish. This game is very polished, and I like that. Food changes. If you microwave food now, some of it is going to be a little bit less effective. It's going to make your character a little more sad. Same thing for hot or cold food will have impacts on character and happiness. Now, happiness doesn't do a ton in the game, but as we move closer and closer towards having survivors added to the game, this I think is going to play a huge role if you want to have a group. I look forward to see how that comes out. Now, a big update here is you got the lootable map items. So the map items themselves are pretty simple. It's just a map in the game. There's already been a website that most people use that shows you the entire map of the game that was made by Blind Coder, which is one of the modders that work close with the devs, and he creates a lot of great stuff. He's working on like a gravity mod right now that makes buildings not be able to exist without support structures, which that might become native to the game later. We don't know for sure, but we know that the devs take mods and make them native to the game over time. So anything that's good and lightweight eventually becomes part of the game. Now, what these maps do though is it gives you something you can write down on in game. So if you're wanting to mark an exact place for people to go, you can do that in the game and hand them this map and be like, go here. This is really good for servers if you want to create quests, if you want to mark where your base is on a map. I'd like to see if those maps can be posted like on the wall and like made a world item where people can just walk up to the map and look at it, as opposed to only having it as an inventory item. I don't know if that's a thing yet, but I don't believe it is. You can also write on them in 4 different colors, it says, but you need to have the relevant pins. Now, I like this feature. I like that you need to have the relevant pins, but what I want to see is getting pins to be easier, and they need to become much more common. You know, maybe when you find pins, you should find multiples of them, or maybe when you find maps that are annotated, they have a pin already attached to them, because the reality is something like this that is a cool feature can quickly become a tedious annoyance. If you're like, well, I want to mark this in a different color, but I don't have a different color, and then it becomes a mission in game to go find a pin, which sounds like a cool thing, but in reality it's not. It's not exactly something fun to be on a quest for a pin. So I hope that pins become more ubiquitous as this moves on. The other thing is you've got the annotated map system, and these can be found from other survivors when survivors are added to the game, but you're going to find them on zombies, which are survivors that died. The thing I like most about this, you can find these hidden stashes of goods and stuff like that. So it's another source of loot, which is cool. Kind of like an in-game mission that you can find. But I like that it says loot can be found in cupboards, crates, bags on the floor, and even hidden under the floorboards. What I like about this is we're going to start having more and more way to hide loot. This is going to be useful for multiplayer servers. It's another way, you know, even just like putting the metal in the microwave, they have, you know, you can poison food now, you can hide stuff in the floorboards, you can sabotage by throwing some metal in a microwave, you know, all these different little things. I love all the little nuance things that you can kind of espionage around, and I think that's going to be really cool in multiplayer servers. Under balance, which I think this is funny that this is listed under balance, but it says lower the sound radius of tap water drips. And in my playthrough, you notice I said I got new headphones and I can hear sounds I never heard before. The water tap drips is one of the sounds that I never really noticed previously, but with my new headphones, it picked it up really, really well. But I just love the idea that that's a balance change, like the game was unbalanced because of the water tap drips. I don't think those attracted zombies or anything, but maybe they did, but I don't believe they did. Lower the number of random building burnt safe house from 20% to 10%. I'm assuming that's from feedback. I never really noticed there being an issue of too many buildings being burnt or safe houses, but that may also, they probably lowered that because there's also going to be increased number of safe house style buildings because of the annotated maps. That pretty much rounds off. I'm not going to go through every single bug fix that he did, but that kind of rounds off the bulk of what the little here that's highlighted in red goes to. So, you know, there's the map. You can see what it looks like. Rosewood, which I think is the most recent area, and in the next update, they said it's pretty much guaranteed that we are going to have the next map update, whatever that will be. Some other things that are nice: general improvements to cooking systems and food, split screen co-op fixes, gamepad fixes. Just want to say full split screen and gamepad support for a game like this that's on PC is practically unheard of. So I want to give a huge shout out to the devs for just the fact that they have split screen, which I think goes up to 4 players, is a huge deal, because that means if with 2 copies of the game, you can have 8 people play together, I believe, with co-op in the multiplayer. So that's amazing. And even with 1 copy, you can have 4 people play at home. And if you've got I don't know if you can split the different screens to multiple monitors. I have enough faith in the devs and the modding community that if that's not already a thing, it will be a thing by the time the game's fully released. Improved sleeping system online for servers who like to snooze. New Forge UI to limit item buildup on the map. The new Forge UI I'm excited for. I hope that it's very clean. I haven't looked at it personally yet, but there's a lot of things you can forage for, and I don't know if when you right click to say forage, if it's just like, hey, food, or if it's going to be like each individual food item, because I could see it going either way and it would make sense either way. But I'm hoping that just a forage isn't like clicking through 5 menus now. That being said, it's also great to not just go to forage for food and come back with like 30 rocks, which makes no sense either. It's a work in progress, and they'll get more and more feedback. Clear Moodle impact descriptions. I don't know exactly what that's going to mean, but I'm assuming that's going to be useful for a lot of newer players. I mean, for the most part, I kind of know what all the stuff does, but it'll be useful for certain people to know exactly what's being affected, especially when it comes to like sadness, depression, and anxiety moodles. A lot of people don't realize that as your character gets sadder, you kind of just do tasks slower overall, so you'll see yourself transferring items very, very slowly, and if you have the all thumbs trait, you're going to be just in a nightmare state of trying to transfer. The next thing is animations. You always want to watch animation updates, because the closer they get to finalizing animations, the closer we are to having survivors, which I know is probably going to be the most popular update ever once NPC survivors are added to the game. They've got this new guy, Mark, who he's got a ton of industry experience and what they call battle hardiness, which I'm assuming just means he knows his way around animations. And they kind of go on to say that he really is helping them improve a lot of things. This is good that they're bringing in new people. Bringing in new people and continuing to move forward with your game development is usually a sign of success. This game is doing well, which is great, because I want this game to come to full fruition. The IWBUMS, which is, or the IW bums, is the I will back up my save. The next I will back up my save, it says, I mentioned this before, it's pretty much guaranteed that the new map expansion will be in that. So for those of you who are kind of on the cutting edge with the test builds, which I tend to dabble in, I have more in the past. Here recently I've been playing the stable builds more, but you can go in and see whatever that new map expansion is. I still got to check out Rosewood, so I might be doing a gameplay where I start in Rosewood just to kind of throw myself into that more. But what I'm excited for, it says alongside, it says that's certain to be in 38, the map upgrade, alongside the MP Discord integration, which I'm assuming is multiplayer Discord integration. I don't know exactly what that is, but I'm very excited because we have a Discord group that is part of with our partnership with the games, and you might be watching this on the games channel because I'm probably going to post it there too. Go join our Discord because we kind of talk behind the scenes about maybe doing some Project Zomboid stuff, because I introduced him to this game and he's like, oh my gosh, this game's amazing, I love this game, how have I never seen this, etc, etc. So I'm excited about this multiplayer Discord integration feature because that's going to help us grow our personal community. And so you can go there. We're going to be probably doing some Project Zomboid discussions from time to time there. You can also go to the main Project Zomboid Discord, where you'll see me from time to time. I'm Warlord Matt on Discord, by the way, so if you see me in there, that's me. And so I'll suggest things from time to time. The final thing, probably the biggest and most exciting thing from this build for most people, these vehicles impressed me. I think what I'm impressed most by is that when they collide, they move on like the vertical height map. They move higher and lower and things like that, which is not something I fully expected given the nature of this game, that it's isometric, etc, etc. So I'm really happy that the possibility of going over another car is there. So that means we're gonna possibly see things like the ability to have ramps, you know, so you drive up a ramp to go over a fence, you know, to be able to make a jump, you know, straight up Dukes of Hazzard style. And with this type of height mapping, it makes me wonder if we eventually will be able to dig a trench of some kind. You know, maybe if we can get a car on the second floor via going up a ramp or something like that. I think that would be cool if we can build what amounts to like a parking garage style area and have like a survivor group and you collecting cars or whatever. Gives a lot of in-game goals. That being said, some of the stuff they haven't worked into the vehicles yet is they're all the same basically, is in terms of handling and health and all that stuff. They just look different right now, but they're all going to feature storage. I really love the cutouts on the wheel that show all the different parts of the car, and that's a work in progress. So when they say work in progress, it means it's going to get better, but it's already a really cool premise, so I'm really enjoying what I'm seeing with that. And there's this picture here. They said we're looking at 2 subtle different ways of coloring vehicle textures. So answers on a postcard if you can tell us your opinion of which of these vehicles fits best within the PZ game world. I don't know what they mean by answers on a postcard. If somebody knows that, please post that in the comments. I'm assuming they're just saying, hey, give us feedback. Of these 3, if I had to rank them in order, I'm going to say the greenish car I think looks the best, then the black one, and then the blue one. And I think the reasons why I say that is because the green car's windows, for one, they don't have as much of the two-tone, like super reflective look of the other 2 cars. And I feel like having that reflective look in a game that doesn't feature reflections is a downside. And so I think that having the window that looks less reflective in more that style is a better choice for this game. Also, the same reason why I think the black car looks better than the blue one is the blue one has like this two-tone sort of thing, like almost like there's this light strip down the center of it that, again, I don't think is going to match up with the lighting of the game as well. And it looks more reflective, and I think that going for a more pasteled, toned down, less reflective look like you see on the green one or on the black one, but especially the greenish colored one, works really well. And so that's the one I think looks the best for this game. Not necessarily the best, period, but for Project Zomboid, I feel like that it fits the aesthetic the best. But I want to know what you guys think. Post in the comments down below so the devs can... I don't know what, again, answers on a postcard, I don't know what that means, but if you post your comments here, they can use it. If you go to their Discord and post it there, they can use it. Just give them some sort of feedback, because I want this game to be the best it can be. And give me some feedback too. Let me know what you think about this. Let me know if you want more update videos. Let me know if you want it less news report, here's what happened, and more opinion, or if you want the opposite. All right, thanks guys, peace.